What's up, guys? I'm Tinashe Moyo, and welcome to another episode of Stride. On this channel, my goal is to inspire people to take the first step towards their goals in life using my personal experiences. And in this video, we celebrate a milestone. So sit back and enjoy. What's up, guys? I'm Tinashe Moyo, and I will make sure that you never forget this face because I am so money. Can you guys believe that Stride is already a year old? I mean, it's crazy how time flies, right? And I think as we speak, or rather as I speak, we are currently sitting at 97 subscribers. I don't know I don't know who the trio is gonna be so that we get to 100. Just trying to fix my microphone stand here. It's just acting up a little bit. But yeah, 97 subscribers, and it's all thanks to you guys. I really appreciate you guys for being on this journey with me. You know, in this episode, we're just gonna look at the good, the bad, the ugly, that type of thing, and the vision for the future as well. So it's interesting for me to just think that all of this, like, it just started off as just a joke. I mean, I'd initially wanted to do this thing where I would post videos on Instagram just detailing some of the things that I would be doing, particularly my journey when it comes to football. And then Paddington just suggested the idea for, being a YouTuber. So I just thought I'd give it a try. And well, it's been fun to say the least. Now, I think if we can look at the accomplishments, I think first off, I've been watching a lot of podcasts and documentaries. Now, the thing with documentaries is that I think I started watching documentaries a couple of years back, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a thing where my dad, being a filmmaker for most parts of his life, I think the bug actually bit me. So I automatically started to enjoy documentaries. So I think it actually built up from, should I say, biographies, where it's probably about an actor's life or a musician's life. Like, I just enjoyed following stories so much. So it started off from that. And then I started getting into things like, wildlife, or just going on the History Channel on DSTV, the Curiosity Channel, Discovery Channel, Net Geo, all of those things. They really, they really got me into liking documentaries so much. So it was documentaries and then podcasts as well. Like, especially these days, I've been watching so many podcasts. And I think some of you might be familiar with me mentioning the name Jay Shetty on most of my podcasts, videos. Jay really inspires me so much. Like, it's just interviewing people, getting to listen to other people's stories, and also inspiring people. But also not just Jay Shetty, but it's just been different people that I've been watching, like podcast wise. So, by virtue of that, the reason for me to want to watch documentaries and podcasts was because of the fact that I wanted to pay attention in regards to, how people do it, like from the production aspect, from the writing aspect, the storytelling aspect. It's something that really, really inspired me. And when it comes to like even the podcasts, I'll say now more than ever, I've been paying attention to like how, other media channels operate. So all of that, it then leads to the why, as to, of course, I spoke about, to wanting to learn about storytelling and everything. But the major factor was for me to learn how to speak, because I always want to pay attention to how the people are talking, you know, any any kind of thing that I can like bookmark, like, okay, that's how they're handling it. That's all I wanna learn. Because when I look back at when I started, um, I wanted to be like all these other podcasters. I don't mean to kick anyone in the face, but it was just a thing where I wanted to speak faster. I wanted to speak fluently, like without any mishap, without any hiccup, without any pause or anything like that. But I got to learn a valuable lesson from Dwayne Johnson when he was sharing his story, I think on a podcast, PBD podcast. So Dwayne was saying that when he embarked on his Hollywood journey, when he started off, his agents, his management would actually tell him that uh, you're not supposed to be big, because as we all know, even from his WWE days, Dwayne Johnson was just, big. He was like the Rock, you know what I mean? So the management would always tell him that you don't have to look big. So you need to like slim down. That's how you get roles. You need to look a certain type of way. You need to talk a certain type of way. Like you can't talk about wrestling, you know? And yet, wrestling was the thing that made him. So he ended up having to follow that advice. But then along the way, you know, he felt that something just wasn't clicking. Like he wasn't being himself. He was being the guy that the agents told him to be, just so he could fit in. Until he was just like, okay, I'm just going to snap out of it. I'm just going to be myself. I'm just going to start working out again and get bigger. And by virtue of doing that, Hollywood, the industry, started to conform. And now he's one of the most successful actors, one of the most highest paid actors, all because of the fact that he became himself. Even to this day, he still features in WWE. He still talks about wrestling, something that he really loves. But still, he's getting all these good opportunities because he became himself. So I took a page, from that. And then I was just like, this is profound. I really, really like this. Like I have to be me. You know, as I spoke earlier, sorry, I had popcorn an hour ago. So some of those things are actually choking me now. So, anyways, as I was saying earlier, right? I said I wanted to speak faster. I wanted to speak fluently. I didn't even want to skip any kind of word. But by picking up, Dwayne Johnson's story lessons and how he became himself, I was just like, okay, I just got to be me. And, you know, when you're yourself, you quickly realize that You're not perfect. I mean, we all know no one is perfect, right? But we strive every single day to be progressive. So I was just like, okay, um, if I'm just myself, that means I'm just going to do so many hiccups. You know, I'm going to mess up so many words. But at the end of the day, that's natural, that's organic. And people are actually going to relate to that more like, oh, he made a mistake. He's on camera, he made a mistake. Because we have this illusion that all of these great people, all of these famous people never make mistakes because of the things that we see, like on the camera or, on the TV. But the ones who make mistakes most of the time are the ones that are so much relatable. So I was just like, all right, I don't think um, it's going to be a problem if I make a mistake. At first, when I would record I think my early episodes, if I had spoken for like 10 minutes and if I messed up a single word, I would stop and record from the top. So it would like take me 2 hours to get a recording done because I would keep on doing retakes. I remember, I think I used to do like, I don't know, like an 8, maybe 7 or 8 takes just to make sure I get the right one. But now I'm at a point where I'm just like, you know what? It's okay to mess up during recording. Like, even if you mess up, you're not going to die. I figured that when you mess up, like you can actually create magic from that. I think if you guys remember, should be part 3 of the episode Becoming the Franchise. I choked and then I started coughing. Instinctively, I would have deleted that scene, that part. But then I was just like, you know what? Let me just keep that part. And then I had to play around with, I think, a clip of the famous cartoon, The Family Guy. And, it was just CPR. Like I just used it, like, mistakes sometimes will help you create stories that are interesting, stories that are gold. That was a small part of me just coughing. But I mean, I made it seem like now my soul is leaving me, and then they had to do CPR on me just to get back. Like, so it's just about how we look at things sometimes. A lot of the times we are really scared of messing up, but then, if you keep an open mind, I think you can actually create some of the best things from, the mistakes that we make. I think there's this famous saying that says we learn from our mistakes. So I think that was one of the biggest lessons that I got from recording all of these episodes that I've been doing since since last year. Like don't be scared to mess up, And now the interesting thing is that through all of those mishaps, I want to give a special shout out to a man from our church. His name is Mr. Mandemutsira. So, or just yesterday, from the day that I'm recording this episode, or should I just say Sunday, after service, he came up to me and then he was just like, I didn't know that you were that good in front of the camera. Like you were so confident, you were so composed, you were so eloquent. I mean, you should be like a host. You should be like a presenter because I mean, you really know how to handle yourself. That stuff really made me feel so good because honestly speaking, I always, and I mean always, criticize myself for the stuff that I do. People will always be, they'll always condone, they'll always clap for you. But it's rare for me to clap for myself. You see, it's rare for me to clap for myself because I'm like, I don't think this is good enough. But then, I think getting stuff like that from people really gives me the confidence to do more, because I don't think if I always listened to myself, I don't think I would ever progress. So that really made me happy. And it also made me understand about perfectionism. I think I've said it in some of my episodes, and I also said it in the previous episode with Glenn, that there was a lady who said done is better than perfect. I've chased perfectionism for most parts of my life. I always want to make sure everything is perfect. But in doing so, I lose a lot of time. I lose a lot of energy. But then now I got to a point where I think this podcast has really helped me understand that you just need to get things done. You can have all of these crazy ideas, right? But then here's the thing. The people out there don't know all the nitty-gritties that are in my head, all the nitty-gritties that are like on paper. I just don't have paper close by, but all of the nitty-gritties on paper, the audience doesn't know about that. And I think rightfully so, they don't even need to. All they want is just to get the final product. When the final product is out, just like, Mr. Mandumutsira condoning me, clapping for me, he doesn't even know that, oh, I missed out this part, or I left out this part, I left out this. He just likes the finished product. So it really made me understand the fact that you need to get it out. You need to get it done, And I think by virtue of that, I think it has made me progressive, to say the least. Because if I was still in that zone, I wasn't going to record this episode today, to be honest with you guys, because I'm just like, oh, I feel like maybe there's still some things that I haven't included. But what matters the most is progressing. So I've really, really learned about not chasing perfectionism every single time, but just working with what I have to get to the next stage. So I'm really I'm really appreciative of that. And I also like the fact that part of my accomplishments was expanding my circle as well. Getting people like, guys like Glenn, Ropafadzo Gusha, Tinashe Chikanda, that really made me feel special. And I'll speak a bit about Glenn, in the sense that this is a young guy who's really hungry and eager to learn. Probably like 2 months ago, he just told me like, I want to do video editing. And then I was just like, okay. I remember my younger self telling my dad that I wanted to do video editing. But then my dad was just like, nah, you don't need to do that. Like those are like stupid things, But then I'm just like, okay, now I'm at a point where I had to blaze my, wait, is that the right English? I had to create my own path. I wanted to say blaze my trail, maybe, but oh, I'm getting a warning. Time is running out. Damn it. Okay, just a slight mishap. The camera was just making space for a new clip. So, anyways, I was just talking about blazing my trail when it comes to video editing. So I appreciated Glenn so much, especially in that regard. And it's like Glenn is someone, like I said before, like he's someone who's eager to learn. Oh, I think I just rhymed. Glenn is eager to learn. Yeah, I gotta write a rap song, you know what I mean? But anyways, um, he's so eager to learn. And when you see him, when you speak to him, he's just like, okay, yeah, what do we do? Like he's waiting to get like advice from someone like me. And then I'm like, okay, that's really humbling. And then when it comes to someone like Rupa Gusha, she just came to me and she's like, I like your content. And I was like, okay, cool. Thank you. And then she's like, I want to be on your podcast. And then I'm like, okay, wow. That's that's surreal, you know. And with Ropa, she is someone who's a massive reader. And then I was just like, okay, for me to be able to, progress with this podcast, at least I need to have a mind, like to expand the horizon of my mind, if that's good English. And how best can I do that? Reading books. And Ropa is the right person for me to go to and learn all of that stuff. And then there's Tinashe Chikanda as well, someone who just opened up about going through depression. And me being someone who goes through those things sometimes, like, okay, this is just someone I can instantly go and talk to about anything that's bothering me. So having that kind of circle, especially when it comes from uh, people who are interested in my content and being a part of this podcast, it's something that's truly amazing. And one of the things that entices me as well is a conversation that I had with Paddington's younger sister called Fadzaika Seke. So currently she's in Turkey at school. So when she came back like a month ago, she asked me like, what's it like having a YouTube channel? And then, I just spoke a bit about how it is like. And then she was just like, if I was confident, I would start my own YouTube channel, because she does the cooking thing, catering and stuff. So I just started giving her a bit of advice. Like, you don't have to wait for confidence to build up so you can start something. And I was telling her my own experiences. Like, generally, I'm a shy person, right? But that doesn't stop me from doing some of the things that I like, particularly being in front of the camera. Um, yeah, I know being in front of the camera is not an easy thing, but you get used to it as time goes. You build confidence as time goes on. So that's something that I was just telling her, like, yo, when I'm out there, when I'm speaking to people in person, sometimes the shyness gets the best of me, but still, I always give it a go. When it comes to this channel, like, I think my first episodes, I was I was shy of the camera. I think there was one episode, I think the one where I spoke about convenience. I had this I had I had a rigid smile because I was just talking about making life convenient for people. And one of the things is just, smiling. But I remember, it was, like I was scared, but still I proceeded and I did the whole thing. And now I'm at a point where I'm just like, I'm more comfortable in front of the camera. I still feel like I can do more, but now the reason why I feel like I can do more is because I've already started. So that's something that I was just advising her on. So, by virtue of that, I felt so humbled that there's people that want to learn from me because they've seen me do things. And I mean, I'm the guy who wasn't successful in his academic studies, one O level in English language, right? But I'm here doing my thing that I love, things that I enjoy. And then people are catching on to, stuff like that. So that's really a major accomplishment for me, So, man, it's just so amazing. And like, I think one of the things that I really like as well is that I've remained focused even when people are like, people want to throw ideas at you. Like, oh, I think your podcast would need this. I think your podcast would need that. You need to speak about this. You need to speak about that. But, while ideas are good, there are some ideas that can be meant for me and some that probably aren't meant for me. You know, um, it all comes back to the why. Like, even when people say whatever they say, I still get to sit back and think, like, okay, the reason why I started this channel is because of this. You can have someone telling you, like, oh, get another microphone, do it as an interview, because they can be accustomed to other people that always have two people on their podcasts, right? Which is okay. But like for me, I'm just like, okay, there'll probably be a place and a time for that. I think when I had the 10 first episodes, I wasn't thinking about any of that, because I probably got a suggestion like that on episode like 3 or 4. But then I'm just like, okay, now doesn't feel like, the right time until I got Tinashe Chikanda on the podcast. Like, and it happened naturally. Like, okay, I think now is because the reason why I'm saying all this is sometimes we lose track of the things that we like to do because, you just listen to people. You're just like, okay, let me go do it. Instead of listening to your gut instinct. I know people have good ideas. People mean well. And I appreciate that. But I'm thankful that I was still able to listen to my gut, like, okay, until it makes sense for me. I think generally I'm just a guy who likes to follow his gut instinct, So that's one thing that I really, really liked. Like, okay, at least I want to let things happen naturally, if you get what I mean. So I also get people asking me like, how much are you getting paid? I'm always laughing because that's like the last thing on my mind. Getting paid by YouTube, man. I mean, that's a stretch, It's a stretch. Like, my focus right now is on creating content as much as I can and growing from it, learning from it. I don't think about getting paid by YouTube, of course, every YouTuber, when they get to a certain milestone, they start getting paid. But for me, I'm just like, I don't need to worry about any of that. Because the moment that I start worrying about getting money, I probably would have stopped this podcast like on episode 3 or 4, because it takes so much to create content. Like even for myself, I always struggle before I record. It's funny, like you then get to see me smile, like, what's up, guys? Welcome to the show. But before I record, I've got this tripod that gives me one hell of a time to set it up just so you can get a frame like this. So I think the good reason for me to not think about the money was it helped me focus on doing the dirty work. I think that's one thing that I'm really thankful for. Like, I know people just ask because they know YouTube pays, but for me, I was still able to stay like laser focused. Like, okay, I know where this has to go. I gotta work. I gotta learn as much as I can. Because it's a process. It's a process. Like whenever the money comes, it's gonna feel good. That's the beauty of these things. So I consider that an accomplishment, that I don't even worry about money at all, or even researching like, okay, let me look up Google, like, okay, so when do I get, money? When do I start getting money? Like all of those things. I pay no mind to that, because what I'm just focused on is just working. I just want to do, and it has helped me so much. It has helped me, kind of getting a dry mouth. I don't even have water in here. But anyways, it has really helped me stay focused and stay strong. Now, sometimes I laugh at myself, like excuse me, I would get to points where I would, you know, struggle just by thinking of the fact that when this channel succeeds, am I going to be able to handle the success? But then I'm thankful that I was able to decipher the whole thing, because I figured that the reason why I always feel anxious when it comes to me thinking about how I can handle the success is because I'm not yet ready for that. I'm not yet made for that. That's why it's not making sense. That's why it's overwhelming for me. When I get to that point, when the success comes in, I'll be ready. I'm pretty sure I'll be ready. So I think it's just a thing of staying in your lane and living in the moment, right? Because it's so easy for us to think about the future when we're not even in that space. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's always good to think about your goals, think about the things that you want to do. But more than anything, I think our energy has to be much more focused on where we are now. So that's what I'm really thankful for. I think that's part of the accomplishments from starting this channel. Now, some of the challenges, one of the biggest challenges was inconsistency. Man, I would miss 3 weeks of episodes, a month of episodes. And, I think that really that really affected my momentum, you know. And the thing is, when you're doing something, when you do something, rather, the more you do it, the quicker you get better at it. But then for me, I would struggle like, okay, I've gone on a rampage. I've released 3 consecutive episodes every single week. And then I miss the next 3 or 4 weeks. When I get back to it, it becomes even harder. Like, man, how was I doing it the first time? Because, you create a flow when you are consistent. So I think being inconsistent was like one of the major setbacks for me. And um, I think what ties into my inconsistency is the overthinking aspect, right? I spoke about perfectionism, being able to slowly get over that. But then when it comes to the challenges, those were also the things that led to my inconsistencies. Because when it comes to the idea for the episode, I'm just thinking like, okay, is it not going to be hard to execute? Like the points that I want to talk about, am I going to remember them? I don't have to miss everything. But like I said, I mean, the viewer doesn't know the nitty gritties. So overthinking, led to uh, lost time. And yeah, it really affected my progress. So these are some of the things that I'm looking at now, like, okay, I need to I really need to work on them. And also, another big challenge was marketing. Oh, I mean, marketing the podcast was like one of my weak points. I mean, yes, I could release episodes, right? But then I would upload clips of an episode on Instagram, Facebook, and that was it. I wouldn't do anything beyond that, like, um, creating a regular call to action to people like, hey, uh, subscribe, follow me. Like, I mean, on Instagram, I'm like on 37 followers. I mean, just imagine like in a year, some of these things happen, but I feel like I could have really done more when it comes to the whole marketing aspect. So these are just some of the things that I'm really looking into. Like, okay, I really need to get better at that. And then I think branding, uh, I'll say it's a challenge because of the fact that I figured that I could have given it more time. I mean, I like the logo and everything, the tagline, it's good. It has helped the channel move, but I feel like I think I could have done so much more. I could have researched more because when it comes to branding, you there's certain things that you also need to consider. Like, for example, the kind of logo that you create. How are you going to use it? Is it going to work on just about everything? So these are just some principles when it comes to branding, and I just felt like, okay, uh, I just need to go with what I have, because I think now it was just a thing where I don't want to keep working as a perfectionist. I just want to get this thing out. So these were some of the challenges. And I think another challenge as well is the inconsistency of my voice. I think if you've listened to some of my episodes, one day it's sharp, another day it's like shallow deep, like it's like I'm being choked or something. And I think my voice has been like that for a very long time. So sometimes it makes me feel insecure about how I speak. It makes me think that I'm not confident. And above all else, I start comparing myself to other people. Like, why don't I sound like these people? But I think the solution, I actually have it already. Like the Dwayne Johnson story, like, just be you. Don't think about someone else. just be you. So I think that's pretty much part of the challenges that I had when it comes to the year in review of Stride. Now, looking into the future, first thing is first. I just want to keep things simple and slow it down. You know, yes, of course, we want to get things done there and then. Like you just want everything to be done all at once. But no, I just gotta keep it simple. By keeping it simple, I mean, you know, I'm thankful that I have a microphone. I'm thankful that I've got a laptop. I'm thankful now I've introduced a floodlight in my room. I think now you can see that the lighting is different. Um, you know, like it's not a beautiful or studio quality type of thing, but less is more sometimes, at least until I get into the groove where I really feel like, okay, now is the time to really expand. So, yeah, I just need to keep it simple. And another thing is like bringing more people on board because now it just feels like more natural to at least have people come on this podcast and get to share their stories and inspire other people with their stories because I've already inspired people with mine. And this is not to say I'm not going to tell any of my stories or experiences. As long as I have a good story to tell, I'm definitely going to give it to you. But I also want the next person to inspire you through this because I've inspired them to, take that step and get onto this platform and give you guys some of their experiences. So I really, really look forward to getting to have more conversations with people, and just understanding that everything happens in its time and at the right time. Like it's part of the future. I don't want to force things. Yes, people can come with ideas, but I just want to keep it, like I said, I just want to keep it simple. Just want to take things slow and make sure everything aligns. And at the right time, everything happens. And, I think this is like maybe far into the future. I'm really inspired by people like Oprah and their conference tours. There's Oprah, there's the PBD podcast. He had PBD actually had what happened here? PBD actually had a conversation with Dwayne Johnson. So from that conversation, that's where I got the lesson where he spoke about Hollywood conforming to him. So those kinds of tours where you get to have a conversation in front of other people and interact with other people, that's like one of my legitimate goals. Like Stride is definitely gonna get there at some point. Even Jay Shetty does stuff like that. I think there's also Gary Vaynerchuk. He actually does stuff like that where he just gets to interact with the audience, and those are some of the things that I really that I really aspire to do. So it's just part of my future plans. Now, before I wrap up, I just want to thank you guys again for, riding with me on this journey. It's not easy having a YouTube channel. I think I've said this a couple of times. It is not easy, but it's doable. You give yourself time, you be patient with yourself, you talk to people, you get advice just to be on the right track. there's some of you guys that have really been inspired by my content, my journey. And I just want to take this time to, to have all of us listen to what some of you have had to say about our journey so far together. So let's check it out.
Happy first anniversary to Stride. Wow, what a journey it has been. From episode 1, I've learned a lot. I just want to thank Tinashe for his channel. One thing I've learned from watching all the episodes of Stride is that you should always go for your dreams in life, never give up. That's one thing I'll always take away from being a fan of Stride, that I've been taught never to give up. So I wish you 1,000 more episodes, Tinashe, and thank you. Keep up the good work.
Happy first anniversary, Stride. Thank you, Tinashe, for the show. Thank you for the channel. It has really helped me a lot. I think I can say I'm a better storyteller from listening to your stories. And keep going on. Happy first anniversary. You're really doing a great job. Thank you.
So one thing that has stuck with me from watching Stride is also something that I also appreciate about Tinashe is how self-aware he is. You don't get that many life lessons if you're not self-aware. So self-awareness is important.
So I learned that you should just believe in yourself and embrace the imperfections.
Stride has taught me about discipline. It has taught me that vulnerability is not a weakness. Stride has taught me that trying does not kill, and also to trust the process.
When I started watching Stride, I actually didn't know what sort of show it's going to be. At first I thought it would be, since the guys are really based on technology, I thought it would be technology based. But then it was more life experiences, and then I was obviously keen to keep watching the next ones. Then it just became fun because I knew the people behind Stripe, so just getting that insight, in particular the whole wedding episode, and you know what I mean, how you can feel as an individual, when your close mate is getting married, all of that. I think that one was the most profound to me, and also the soccer episode, because I was there. I remember that match. I think it upset. Internationally played a good game, so it's been fun, honestly. Very insightful, but at the end of the day, for me, I guess it's really been fun to just realize the lens of certain things. Was just a soccer match, but to someone it was trying. So yeah, it's been fun and also motivating. Yeah.
It made me happy, and I had tears of joy when I watched the episode Becoming a Better Uncle. I love my uncle.